And breaking now ahead of tomorrow's big verdict in an exclusive talk with Times Now, Justice Mukul Mudgal, who headed the probe panel into the IPL spot-fixing case, talks about Gurunath, Meiyappan and Raj Kundra, who were found to be guilty of betting during IPL matches.
We speak to Justice Mukul Mudgal. Justice Mudgal, what was it that your report had really stated that indicted both these individuals, sir?
We had merely found Mr. Meiyappan to be a team official of Chennai Super King and found that he was betting on matches in the IPL.
And so what about Raj Kundra also?
Same was the finding in respect of Mr. Raj Kundra, in respect of Rajasthan Royals, that he was in fact an owner and that he was also indulging in betting. These findings were accepted by the Honorable Supreme Court, and now the present panel appointed by the Supreme Court, headed by Justice Lodha, is deciding what punishment, if any, should be imposed on these two franchises and the two.
Sir, it's obvious after the fact-finding committee that was led by you has given this finding that there will be some stringent punishment on both these individuals as the two teams. What can we expect, sir?
Look, it's not for me to speculate. This is in the realm of the committee which is looking into the punishment. It won't be proper for me to say anything on this.
So Justice Mukul Mudgal there reiterating what, of course, is already in the public domain, that Gurunath Meiyappan, the son-in-law of the owner of Chennai Super Kings, was found guilty of betting in the IPL. Justice Mudgal also saying categorically that Raj Kundra was found guilty of betting in the IPL. Now, this, of course, did show a clear conflict of interest, with both of them being owners of teams. Rhythm Anand Bhardwaj there speaking with Justice Mukul Mudgal. She now joins me for more details on this. Rhythm, you did put that question to Justice Mudgal, you know, what can be expected in terms of the punitive measures. He was a little reticent about it, but what can we expect as the verdict is out tomorrow?
Well, there are two things that can happen. First, there could be heavy penalties that could be imposed on the two teams, as well as Raj Kundra and Gurunath Meiyappan. The other thing that could be happening is if their franchisee could be for the time being suspended. Because remember, there are clauses of the IPL, of the Code of Conduct, which clearly state at this point of time that a team can be suspended if its franchisee or its officials are found to be having some wrongdoing, misconduct on their part.
Well, exactly. So, Rhythm, just stay on with us. So, let's just reiterate that point. What the entire issue is, it comes down to this. The fact that Raj Kundra is a co-owner in the Rajasthan Royals franchise, and the fact that Gurunath Meiyappan is the son-in-law of the owner of the Chennai Super Kings. And yet, despite being team owners, they were indulging in betting. That is what it comes down to. It's a huge, huge conflict of interest. And therefore, we ask the question, what happens to not just these two team owners, but also the teams themselves? It's a big, big day for IPL, for Indian cricket, as we figure out what happens to Gurunath Meiyappan and Raj Kundra, Rhythm, on a personal level, and perhaps the bigger question, what happens to the two teams?
Absolutely, and that is exactly what could be decided by the Justice Lodha panel, Tina. Now, remember, when we did speak to Justice Lodha himself, the former Chief Justice of India, who's heading this particular panel, he made it clear that he, at this point of time, would be giving out the quantum of punishment not only to Raj Kundra and Gurunath Meiyappan, but also India Cements and Jaipur IPL. Note the wording that he said, Tina. He did not say that I would be handing out the punishment to the two franchises, but to the two companies that really manage these two particular IPL teams, that is Jaipur IPL as well as, at this point of time, India Cements.
Okay.
So therefore the heat also on N. Srinivasan and others here, Tina, because very clearly this is going to be some strict punishment. Otherwise there could not be such a huge press conference that could have been called by the Justice Lodha panel tomorrow.
Absolutely.
In Delhi.
Now, Rhythm, what's really, really important, therefore, is what tomorrow's verdict says. Is that going to be binding? Is it going to be legally binding? Are they going to have any kind of legal resource to perhaps challenge what is said tomorrow?
Yes, Tina, that's a rather good question, because everybody is asking whether the Justice Lodha panel has the capacity to be giving out punishment to them, and the answer to that is a very final yes. In fact, that particular committee and the quantum of punishment that they will be deciding will be final and binding on the two CSK, on the two teams, I beg your pardon, as well as the two people who are involved here, that is Gurunath, Meiyappan and Raj Kundra. It can be challenged. There are reports that it can be challenged in the trial court, or it can be challenged before the top court. But remember, Tina, we are talking about three very senior judges, former judges of the top court, who have been appointed by the Supreme Court itself to be looking into these charges and giving out a final and binding quantum of punishment to them. So it's very doubtful whether, in fact, if there is any appeal, if any, by the two individuals or the teams, that it could be entertained at all. So yes, that verdict is going to be very crucial, because it's going to be very final and extremely binding on both the teams as well as the two individuals.
Thanks very much, Rhythm, for all those details.